So are you also, telling us that you might also be building a court of appeal in Akwa Ibom many times, huh?
States don't build court of appeal now.
It happened in Delta State. The court of appeal was built almost, within the space of 1 year in Delta State, in Asaba.
Let me explain to you. States can support the federal government in, they do roads and get reimbursed. If they build courtrooms for the judiciary, there's provision for that. When the executive begins to dabble into the capital projects of the judiciary, that is an interference, except there's a working understanding. Ordinarily, it is not the responsibility of Akwa Ibom State government to build a court of appeal. But if a court of appeal is to be built in Akwa Ibom, they will gladly be given land.
How do you see this allegation of security? Some people will say it's rather worrisome.
Security or insecurity is everybody's business. Let me explain to you. It may as well be my client or myself that may be a victim. So we are concerned. But where security is contrived as a reason for subterranean move to scuttle justice, then it cannot. Let me give you the reason. If there is a petition bothering on security, the other party in litigation is entitled to be heard. In other words, when APC wrote a petition, PDP would have been availed of the opportunity of addressing the court on that issue. But where you do a one-way traffic, which justice is not, then it breaches the right to fair hearing, which is constitutional. Okay?
I think that you're misunderstanding the man who came before you. What he said was that initially they had written, they were not listened to, that the court had gone ahead, the tribunal had gone ahead and had started sitting. But eventually it would seem that, the circumstances around it sitting became uncomfortable for it, and they sought, help from the Court of Appeal. That's his own story. That's what he said.
But you see,
he did not say that the tribunal moved because of their own petition. That's not what he said.
Now, let me give you, before the tribunal started sitting, they had preconceived that they must
the political party had their own right to have whatever conceptions.
Okay, so then when the script begins to play out, what does that now portend for the other side?
What is the proof that you have a script playing out?
The script is somebody dies in the night because the evil bird crowed in the night, and in the morning you said it is because of the witch that operated in the night. Before tribunal sat, how did you, APC, know that there must be security concerns that may escalate so much so that to influence the location? Ordinarily, if you come into the fray with an open mind, there shouldn't have been that.
You have said already that, the tribunal has been sitting in the past 4 weeks, you have been attending court, yes, and that you've seen that the court has been full to capacity, even though you're saying that, you're not acknowledging that there are supporters outside. You say, well, it's overflowed to the outside. We do not know what the true situation is. It could be very well that there are supporters who are threatening the lives of the people who are sitting in the tribunal.
But what I'm telling you pointedly, no, what I'm telling you pointedly, that there is no...
It's not possible that there are people threatening the people sitting in the tribunal?
What I am saying is that there is no security threat to the sitting of the tribunal in Uyo.
How do you know that?
Because I attend the court. Why am I here? Ask him, you would have asked him, do you attend tribunal? Very simple. Or are you acting on hearsay information? I'm giving you direct evidence of someone who practices before a tribunal. I am in a better position to tell you what happens there than someone who stays in the back room and then operates based on report filed.
What reason did the tribunal then give for relocating to Abuja?
No reason.
Absolutely none.
The tribunal chairman just told us we have been directed to relocate. That's all.
Directed by who?
We were not told. In fact, as we speak, we are looking for our tribunal. Our tribunal is missing in the air. There is no forwarding address. For if it was properly done, when you relocate...
Is your party agitated by this movement?
Come again?
Is your party agitated by this movement?
Even beyond that, the entire state is worried by this movement.
Because we go back to when they were trying to look at the materials, check the materials, verify the materials, inspect the materials, which he did say was truncated by someone from your party.
Again, I say that that is yet another figment of his imagination. The tribunal has disciplinary powers to deal with any person that obstructs the execution of its orders. So if anybody stalled you from executing the order of the tribunal, what should you do as the party represented by counsel? We know about contempt proceedings. We know about other proceedings. So the idea is not to run away with a subterranean petition to Abuja. Did you cause that person to be committed to prison? Did you report back? What step did you take? For there are substantial provisions in the law to deal with errant people that obstruct the course of justice.
Has there been any time, either in the course of the sitting or examining materials by the commission, that there was an abrupt cancellation of proceedings?
None, to my knowledge.
Because he spoke about certain persons disrupting them, inspecting some of those materials.
Again, I say none, to my knowledge. Do you know why? If any person obstructs the execution of a court order, the same law provides for how to deal with that person. Where you elect not to follow that procedure, and you rather now believe that the relocation of the tribunal will give you better service elsewhere, then it portends an ominous future for that tribunal going somewhere. There is something that we are smelling. It is a rat, and we are shouting now.
How did you receive the information about this relocation to Abuja?
We were before the tribunal, and the tribunal chairman said, gentlemen, from next week, we will not be here. We have relocated to Abuja. Just straight. Why? When? How? So contact the secretary.
No
prior notice. As I have sackloads of court processes as I speak.
Have you made contact with the secretary?
I have been.
And you say you don't have an address to where?
Yes, the secretary told me that there is no forwarding address. They have not been given a new venue.
So tell us then, what was the reaction in the court?
That of shock, surprise, and absolute disappointment.
I mean, even in terms of the people who had come to watch proceedings?
I'm telling you, they were surprised and they were disappointed.
There was no unruly behavior?
Of course not. You know, court has its own rules of regulating, so definitely not.
Sometimes people do not respect these rules. We've seen the situations where people have gone to inspect materials, and this was captured on camera. I mean, newsmen were there, and you could see the drama following just inspection of materials. It happened the first time, it happened the second time, the third time almost, and nobody was committed to prison.
Why? Why don't you, the beneficiary of that order, go back and inform the tribunal, hey, listen, Mr. ABC has obstructed me from getting what I'm supposed to get. Commit him to prison. Cite the law. And I believe the tribunal, as a tribunal of law, would have done that job. Having not done so, then they are not at liberty to have a subterranean relocation. It blinks of amber.
But there are processes to also perhaps challenge that decision to move or to relocate the tribunal, aren't there?
Yes.
Have you explored any of them?
That is why I'm saying, you will only go to where the tribunal is to find. I've given you a precedent. We have a roadmap to follow. Okay? But we're asking, please, where is the current address of the Akwa Ibom tribunal now, so that we can file our papers to challenge this relocation? We don't have a forwarding address. That is the cryptic nature of this movement. Smells a rat. Something is happening. Where do we go to challenge this action?
You're a proponent of that from your talk to going back to the process to get answers.
Yes.
When the secretary did say, well, he or she had no answers,
yes,
or as to the venue of the tribunal in Abuja,
yes,
have you gone back again?
To who?
Maybe the secretary, to see if the
secretary...
secretary...
we went back to the law. Because what you do is you go back to the law to look for what to do in the event of you not having... So that, the law is all that guides us. So the law says, go to the tribunal, file a motion, challenge that relocation. Then let them rule one way or the other. Okay? If they can overrule themselves and come back, fine. If they don't, we go on appeal. But the problem is, where is the new registry? If you move out of your apartment, courtesy, if not decency requires that, give us the forwarding address.
Yeah, but it's interesting because, I mean, if the tribunal is going to be sitting in Abuja, you would definitely be at the tribunal, wouldn't you?
If I know where to go to.
That's if you. So there is no way that the tribunal will sit without taking, your own side of the argument.
So where are they now? Who accounts for this time? Election issues are time bound. I have 180 days to deal with my case.
Isn't that your advantage then?
No, it's not about advantage. It's about due process. You must understand the point. It's not about selfish interest here. You see, for a new administration that prides itself with the rule of law, they should be seen to be doing things in line with the rule of law and not otherwise. It's not about selfish advantage. For if it were, then I would have been sleeping.
What we're saying is no fault of yours. What we're saying is if the tribunal has relocated, has not continued sitting, you don't know where it is sitting, and they haven't taken sides from you, it obviously cannot reach a decision. They have 180 days already going. Isn't that to your advantage?
What happens to the cases of my clients? Some of them will have counterclaims. Do you understand? So some of them we are attacking some things. We are asking for certain remedies. We are asking for certain relief.
For instance?
We shouldn't be shut out. We shouldn't be shut out.
Have they notified you of the next date of sitting?
No. The last communication I had, let me explain to you how the tribunal works. You have the judges that do the actual judicial work. You have the secretary that does the administrative work. That's like the admin head. So when you're looking for information, you want to file papers, you want to serve people, you go to the registry, headed by the secretary. Okay, now, the secretary is supposed to give you a pointer as to where you are supposed to go to do what. I called the secretary, said, listen, we are relocating to Abuja. Call me the next day. We have arrived Abuja. Where are you sitting? We don't have a courtroom yet. Abuja is big. We cannot afford to start shopping from place to place. What is difficult about notifying us about your forwarding address? Do you understand? If there is nothing cryptic, the order that gave directive for relocation should have given us where to go to.
So in the meantime, what happens? Are you going to sit and fold your arms and watch things go?
If that were the option, then I wouldn't be here. I've come here to ask Nigeria, please, where is the Akwa Ibom Tribunal? It's missing in action. We need it. Please locate the tribunal for us. That is why we came on air, to ventilate this problem.
I think it won't be a bad idea if you try the president of the Court of Appeal.
President of the Court of Appeal, I believe, should be listening to me. I've cited a case decided by the Court of Appeal. The law is in the breast of judges. They know this law. Whoever gave that directive should listen to me. You cannot overrule a court decision by your directive. Give me the forwarding address of Akwa Ibom Tribunal is missing.
All right.
We need it.
And Damondem is the National Coordinator of Akwa Ibom Political Action Committee. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away.